Hello everyone, if you are new, my name is Marin. Welcome to another reading vlog. This is my final summer break reading vlog. Tears, because I go back to work next week on the 8th. So we are going to enjoy the last week of my summer break, and I am going to vlog and bring you along. Now, today is Saturday, July 29th, so I have 3 days left in the month, and my goal is going to be to finish this book, which is The Hero's Guide to Being an Outlaw. This is the third and final book in the League of Princes series by Christopher Healy. This is a chunky one. It's got like 517 pages or something like that. 500, yeah, I think 517. And it's chunky, but there are illustrations. The text is not... It's not very small, it's fairly large, good margins. So I'm hoping that 3 days will be fine. I did work out the math, so my goal today is going to be to read to chapter 16, which is page 168, and then I will chat with you about my thoughts. But the League of Princes follows the Prince Charmings from various fairy tales. I did read the second book earlier in July. I will link that vlog up above. I can't remember what number that was, but I'll link it. And basically we're following Cinderella's prince, Rapunzel's prince, Sleeping Beauty's prince, and Snow White's prince. They all have their own names. We have Frederick, Liam, Gustav, and Duncan. And they basically are upset that the bards of their fairy tale land keep calling them Prince Charmings and aren't giving them names. So they're just referred to as Prince Charming, which makes it sound like it's just one prince when it's actually multiple. We have some drama between them and their various princesses, and it's a really good time. The princes are absolutely inept. They make absolutely ridiculous decisions, but it is like laugh out loud funny, and I'm curious to see what this installment's going to be about. But like, here's an example. There's illustrations like all through the book, and so it's not really that much print. So I should be able to get this done in 3 days. This is the last book that I really wanted to get done in July, and yeah, that's what we're going to be reading. I also do need to finish the audio of Concrete Rose by Angie Thomas. I'm almost done with that. I was going to listen to it today, but then I decided to just not. So I will listen to it tomorrow and finish that one off. That was the final book from my actual July TBR, but this is the one that I am hoping to read because this will finish a series. So this is what we're going to start with. However, before I get reading, I got a package. This is my little tiny Ulta haul, so I figured I'd go ahead and share what I got here. I picked up a new cleanser. This is the CeraVe Hydrating Foaming Oil Cleanser. It looks like this, so I'm wanting to give this a go for my nighttime cleanser because I like a foaming cleanser to help remove cleansing balm, leftover makeup, that kind of stuff. And this one says it's for dry to very dry skin, which I don't have, but I'm hoping that the foaming in this case will be gentle enough where it won't strip my skin, because I find with a lot of foaming cleansers, my skin feels kind of stripped afterwards. So we'll give this one a go, but I did find this on Ulta and it looked interesting, so I picked that one up. I'm hoping that they'll maybe come out with like the larger bottle if I like it. And then I also picked up a thing of the Benefit Professional Primer. This is going to be used exclusively on my nose because I have like horrible texture on my nose, and regular primer just does not sit very well on it, and makeup doesn't sit very well on it. I've used this in the past. I decided to pick it up again to see if that might fix that problem, but I did pick that up, and that was actually on sale when I picked it up, so yay for that. And then the final thing I picked up was a concealer because I am finally pretty much done with my under eye concealers that I was trying to finish up. They were from e.l.f. So I picked this one up. This one's from NYX. I heard Sarah Rose talk about this one and say that she enjoyed it, so I'm looking forward to giving this one a go. I have used other NYX products and like them just fine, but that was my little tiny Ulta haul. I don't think there's anything else in here. Nope, just the receipt. So, yep, starting off with a little shopping haul, but these were all things that I needed. Obviously, I'm almost out of concealer. I have like maybe 1 or 2 uses left. Picked this primer up, and then face wash. So yes, nothing terribly exciting, but that was my haul. So now it is already like 3 o'clock. So I'm going to do some reading. As I said, the goal is to get to chapter 16. And then I'm not sure if I'm really going to do anything else today. So we'll just play everything by ear, and you can hang out with me and come along with whatever I happen to get up to. So I will check in with you later. Hello everyone, happy Monday. I didn't do any vlogging yesterday, just wasn't feeling it, which is why there was no footage, but I did do some reading. So let's go ahead and chat. So first of all, I finished listening to the audio of Concrete Rose by Angie Thomas. Initially, as I was listening, I was thinking this was going to be a 4-star read, but there is something that happens. It's a conversation between Maverick, who is the main character, and his father. His father is in prison for some kind of drug charge for like 40 years to life. So his father has been in prison for like 10-ish years at the point that this book is taking place, and Maverick is talking to his father about something that's happened, and it made me cry. And from that point on, the book was a 5-star. Like, not just that conversation, but the ending was extremely well done. I also think that part of why I'm giving it 5 stars is definitely because I listened to the audio. The audiobook is narrated by Dion Graham, and he does an amazing job of switching between Maverick's internal monologues and his external conversations with people. He really shows how people, not just black males, but all people code switch from talking to your elders and your friends, and he did a great job with that. One thing, I normally listen to audiobooks at like 1.7 or 1.75, sometimes 1.8. I had to slow this one down to 1.6 because when he was getting into Maverick's very chaotic thoughts, he was doing it in a very stream of consciousness way, which is how it's written, but verbally it was like he was just spitting out all of these words at such a speed that I was having a hard time following them, which just goes to show like how disjointed and chaotic a 17-year-old boy's mind can be. So I thought that the audio was just first rate, just slow it down. But if you're going to read it, I recommend the audio because I really feel like that like made the reading experience. But this one is done, and this was the last one from my July TBR. So that's officially finished. I also did some more reading on The Hero's Guide to Being an Outlaw. I am like 70% of the way through. I'm on chapter 33, which is page 359, and I am going to be finishing this today, and this will cross off a series from my 10 series to read in 2023 list, which I am very excited about because I've not been doing great at that. And then as you just saw, although it wasn't showing up terribly well, I have started listening to the audio of Blacktop Wasteland. This is by S.A. Cosby. This was his first book, maybe? Let's see when this one was written. So this one was 2020, and then I've also read Razorblade Tears, which I gave 5 stars. All the Sinners Bleed, which I just read back in June, gave that 5 stars. So I'm very curious to see how this one goes. So far, we're still in setup. We're following a man named Beauregard. He goes by Beau. His nickname is Bug. He used to be a driver for like thieves, heists. He got out of that business. He now owns his own garage where he does like car repairs, things like that. But his family has fallen on very hard times, and he is thinking about possibly going back into the heist world to get some quick money because he has all of these bills and things piling up that he is not able to pay, and he's on the verge of losing his shop as well. So I'm not quite done listening to the chapter that I'm on. I'm on chapter 3. These chapters are very long, so once I finish this, I will be on page 47. So just starting it, but this is going to be the audiobook that I'm listening to throughout this week, and hopefully we'll have finished by the end of this vlog on Friday. So that's the reading update. The other news is I got a couple of new Nintendo Switch games in the mail. This is one of them. It's Disney's Illusion Island. You're playing as one of these characters. It's like a multiplayer game, but you have to each own the game, I think. I don't really know. I don't know how exactly it works, but I've just been playing as one singular player and was playing around with this yesterday. So that was what my Sunday consisted of. So now I'm going to film a video. I'm going to do a classroom haul that's not really classroom because I'm going into the library, but I'm just going to share the things that I have picked up, and that's going to go up tomorrow. A little bit behind with filming. I just didn't feel like really sitting down and filming this weekend. So that's the update. I'm going to film that video, gonna finish my coffee, and then I am going to finish The Hero's Guide to Being an Outlaw, and I will come back and chat with you today, give you final rating, all of that, talk about the series as a whole. And then I don't really have anything else on the agenda today. Tomorrow I'm going to the library. I need to return all of these books, which is why I'm trying to get them done, and pick up some new books. So I will bring you along with that, and I think that's about it. Otherwise, nothing is really on the agenda. I'm gonna do some shopping. This weekend I'm going to get my hair cut. It's way longer than I like it to be, but I've wanted it so that I could pull it up because it's been hot. But I found out from my principal, I am not gonna have to do any recess duty. Yay! I have to do lunch duty where I'm in the cafeteria, but I don't have to do any recess duty. So I'm hoping that I can put my hair back to the length that I want it, because I won't run the risk of having to be outside all the time and be really hot. So that's the plan that's gonna happen this weekend. Otherwise, the goal this week is just to kind of get a jump start on my August TBR. Since I report back to work a week from tomorrow, I need to try to get some reading done before I go back. And that's about it. So I will stop talking right now so I can film that, and then I will come back and chat with you once I have finished The Hero's Guide to Being an Outlaw. Hello all, happy Tuesday. I have a reading update. I did finish The Hero's Guide to Being an Outlaw yesterday. I'm giving it 4 stars. I didn't like it quite as much as the first 2, mostly because I felt like there was an unnecessary amount of arguing and infighting going on between the groups, particularly Ella and Liam. They just were butting heads constantly, and the princes and the princesses spend a lot of time apart from each other. So didn't love that. My favorite storyline involved the princes because they're hilarious and they get up to a lot of nonsense because they make not very good decisions. So I felt like their story was like more fun, more laugh out loud. The princess's tale was a little bit more serious. They were in some more significant danger, and yeah, it just took a while for them all to like come back together, and once they did, it was fine. The ending was a romping good time. Still very funny, still very fun to read. One thing is I did listen to this one a little bit on audio, and I didn't love the narrator. He was doing different accents, for lack of a better word, different ways of speaking for some of the characters to try to help distinguish between them all, because it was just one narrator. But some of what he was using to like narrate certain characters made it really hard to understand on the audio alone. So I would have to like physically read it as well if it was like a particularly long conversation. So not my favorite narration. There were some things that he made very funny and over the top and, you know, like the book is supposed to be, but some of those narration choices were not my favorite. But yes, 4 stars, and that is a series that is now finished off of my 10 series to read in 2023, which means I have finished 3 of the 10 series. So not doing so well, but we still have plenty of time in the year to get them done. It is August 1st, so we are past the halfway point of the year. I officially report back to work a week from today, so that's a little bit of a bummer. But yes, let's do some more chatting. So I was listening to more of Blacktop, Wasteland by S.A. Cosby. We are still following Beauregard. He has decided that he is going to go ahead and do one more heist job because he really needs the money for his family. I think I explained that the last time I chatted with you. And we are now in like the setup for that. So they're trying to get all the supplies they need for this and things like that. One thing about S.A. Cosby is he tends to write very gray characters, morally gray characters. I would say the only one who wasn't really morally gray was the main character in All the Sinners Bleed, but in both Razor Blade Tears and this one, we definitely have some morally gray characters, which is fine, makes it more interesting. You're like rooting for the guy even though you know what he's doing is not great. So curious to see where it's going. It's got a nice vibe. The narrator is the same as the narrator for Razor Blade Tears, so I really like that, and I'm enjoying it. So I'm going to continue working on this week. My goal is to hopefully get it done by Friday, but we'll just see. So yes, that one is still going well. I finished, as I mentioned, The Hero's Guide to Being an Outlaw. I'm returning that one to the library today. And then I'm also going to pop by a little free library and get rid of a couple books. So I'm going to get rid of Storm by Bridget Kemmerer. This was initially going to be my buzzword pick for July because it was a weather-related word, but I really just had no interest in actually picking this up. It's the start of a series, and yeah, I'm gonna give this one away. Hopefully someone else will enjoy it. And then I'm also going to officially declutter The Poison Eaters by Holly Black. I read this one in the month of June. This was my June buzzword pick, and it was not my favorite. This is a very mediocre 3-star short story collection. So going to get rid of this one as well. Hopefully someone else will enjoy it. I also am going to turn this one back into the library. I never made it past the last story that I talked about, which was the one by V.E. Schwab. I've just had no interest to pick this up and continue reading, so that's a sign that it just needs to go back to the library. I have it listed as on hold right now on Goodreads. Maybe I'll come back to it, but most likely not, and I'll just go ahead and call it a DNF. So that one is going back as well. I'm going to be picking up the next book that I'm actually going to start reading though. So once I'm back from the library, I'll do a little haul and then I'll talk about what I'm going to be reading for the next few days. And that's all I've got. So I'm gonna head out to the library, turn some books in, pick some books up. I also need to run by Target because I'm out of allergy medicine, yay. And then we'll be back home to do some reading. So I will chat with you later on. Hello all, I am home from the library and Target, so I figured I'd go ahead and do a little library haul. So the first one I had requested was Persepolis Volume 2. This is going to be a book that I'm going to be reading for next week's Final Book Support Group Readathon, which is hosted by Steph Loves. I'll leave a link to her announcement video down below, but yes, you focus on series books. This will finish a series, and it's a graphic novel, so it should read pretty quickly. I also picked up House of Roots and Ruin by Aaron A. Craig. This is the sequel to House of Salt and Sorrows, which I read back in June and quite enjoyed. This one is hefty. I didn't realize how large this one was. So this one has 534 pages, but I am not sure if I'm going to go ahead and start this one this week or wait until the actual readathon, but this is also something for the Final Book Support Group readathon. And then the one that I am going to be starting today is this one right here. This is Barbed Wire Heart by Tess Sharpe. I read a book by her a couple years ago, I think. What would it have been? Maybe 2021, and really loved it. It's called Far From You. Here's the cover. Absolutely loved it, 5 stars. So I'm hopeful that this one will also be 5 stars. She tends to write like YA thriller type books. So I'll go ahead and just read the synopsis. Harley McKenna is the only child of North County's biggest criminal. Duke McKenna's run more drugs, cooked more meth, and killed more men than anyone around. Harley's been working for him since she was 16, collecting debts, sweet-talking her way out of trouble, and dreading the day he'd deem her ready to rule the rural drug empire he's built. Her time's run out. The Springfields, her family's biggest rivals, are moving in, and they're coming for Duke's only weak spot, his daughter. So that's kind of the synopsis. There's more to it than that. But yes, so she tends to write thrillers, and I'm very curious to see what I think about this one. It's different than the first one quite a bit. but there was still a nice like suspenseful atmosphere, sense of writing, foreboding, that kind of stuff in that book, and I'm thinking this one's probably going to be the same. She has like a note at the end, which I'm not going to read until I'm done with it, but this one has 401 pages. It's got pretty tiny font, so this one could take a bit, but I'm thinking I'm going to just work on this one for the remainder of this week. So I'm going to work out the math, so Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 4 days, and then have this finished by Friday. So that's what I'm going to be working on, and anything else I happen to get up to. So hopefully this will go well. Once I have read the first quarter of the book, I will chat with you about my thoughts so far, but I have a good feeling about it because I do really like her writing, or at least I did in her first book. So yes, Barbed Wire Heart is what we're going to start reading today, what I'm going to be reading probably for the rest of this vlog, and yeah, that's that. So I will come back and chat with you once I have some thoughts.
2,000 years later.
Hey y'all, it's Friday, so happy Friday. Long time no chat. I have not done any reading really since the last time I talked to you on whatever day that was, Monday maybe? And the reason for that is because I got this in the mail and I've just been playing this for like 3 straight days. So, no reading. It's Friday, which would typically be the end of this week's vlog, but I'm going to extend it through Sunday because the Final Book Support Group starts on Monday. So I'm just gonna do filming tomorrow and Sunday as well. And maybe I will actually finish a book because I haven't even started Barbed Wire Heart. So here it is. I haven't even touched it. I was going to read 100 pages, whatever day that was that I last talked to you, Tuesday. I think it was Tuesday, right? And I did not. So I'm going to extend my reading for today to 150 pages-ish. Let me see where this chapter stops. Okay, yeah. So I'll read up to part 2, which is chapter 27, page 155. So do my best to get this part read, because then I can do 150 pages tomorrow and finish this Sunday for this vlog, because yeah, I haven't touched it. I'm really excited to read it. I just wanted to play Pikmin more, so that's what I did instead. So yes, gonna go ahead and read this. I probably won't sit down and read like all 150 pages in one go, but I will do my best to get that much read today, and then I will let you know tomorrow my thoughts. So it looks like there might be 3 parts to this book. I'm not really sure, but yeah, I will start this today and then I'll talk to you about it tomorrow. I did listen to more of Blacktop Wasteland, so I'm currently like a little over halfway. I am on chapter 18, which is page 154. So as I mentioned, we're following Beauregard, and he and some other guys have just done their heist job, and now we're about to see the ramifications of that, because there were some things about the heist itself that Beauregard was not aware of. He kind of was going in blind because one of the people involved in the heist is like keeping some information from him, but also I don't know that he necessarily knew all the information either. So we're flashing between a few different points of view, which I find interesting. I'm not sure if that's going to continue, but yeah, definitely the same like suspenseful vibes, and I'm curious to see where it's going. So hopefully I will finish this by Sunday. As I mentioned, I am listening to this one on audio. So that's the only reading update that I have for you in the last 3 days. So yes, I will read some of Barbed Wire Heart get back on track. And then for the final book support group vlog, the one that will come after this, I'm gonna go ahead and vlog Monday through Sunday because I think that's where the readathon runs. I can't really remember, but so that'll be that vlog, its own separate thing. Anyway, I have some videos to film, so I'm gonna take care of that. I have 3 of them that I'm gonna film today, get them all out of the way, and then we will get reading and probably also play some more Pikmin because that's been how I've been spending my time the last 3 days. So I have 4 days of summer break left. Today, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and I report back on Tuesday. So yeah, just enjoying it, even if it means not reading. So yes, I will chat with you later once I have an update. Right now I'm gonna film those videos and we'll see what else I happen to get up to. Hello all, happy Saturday. As you can see, I went and got a haircut, much lighter and less hot. So yes, got my back to school haircut. I also do have a reading update. So today I listened to more of Blacktop Wasteland. I am currently on chapter 25, which is page 223. So I have this much left. It's like 73%, I think, according to Goodreads. And I am planning on finishing this tomorrow. So as you know, we're following Beauregard. He did a heist, and what he stole belonged to somebody who like runs like an entire part of the country in terms of like underworld dealings and things like that. And so now he has been forced by that person to do another heist, and that's where we are. So I don't want to give away spoilers, but this is definitely kind of the same brutal, no holds barred writing that Razorblade Tears had, and I felt like was not quite as present in All the Sinners Bleed. I still liked All the Sinners Bleed, but this one is definitely like a throwback to that brutal writing style, which would make sense because this is his first book. So I'm enjoying it. I'm curious to see how this is all going to end. But yes, that's that one. So that one should be done tomorrow. I also did finally do some reading on Barbed Wire Heart. I read to page 104, which is chapter 18 yesterday. This one, I'm not sure what I think yet, but I do know that I don't love the main character. She's not really grown on me. I'm not really loving her. She's kind of difficult to know at this point. She is very clearly keeping things from the reader and from other people in her life, and I'm not really sure what I think about her yet. I'm also not sure what I think about the writing. The writing is told with present day, which is dated and has a timestamp. So for instance, June 6th, 7 a.m. Okay, but then we have flashback chapters which say things like, I'm 8 years old when, I'm 12 years old when, I'm 16 years old when, etc. So that's how like the past is being told. And I appreciate that it's showing and not telling, because we are seeing that, but I'm still not necessarily loving that narrative choice. So that's where I am. I will be reading more of this today. Hopefully, my goal is to at least get to page 208, which is chapter 33. I don't know if I'm going to have this done by tomorrow. This is reading a little bit more slowly than I was anticipating, and not what I was expecting either, because the first book I read by her I like flew through. So we'll just keep chugging along. Hopefully some more things will become clear because there's a lot of questions, like what she's doing, what's going on. There's something with her father that she hasn't revealed yet. And yeah, I'm kind of getting annoyed a little bit that questions aren't being answered. So hopefully that will happen in the next 100 pages because we need some answers for this book to make sense. So yeah, that's that. So I did start this, but not loving it yet. That could change, but that's my initial impression. So that's the update. I have done some reading, but that's all I've got for you. So I'm just gonna chill the rest of the day, do some reading, play some more Pikmin, which I did do last night, and see what else I get up to. But I will at least have Blacktop Wasteland finished by the end of this vlog. The other one, I don't know, we'll play it by ear. So I will chat with you later once I have a reading update and more to share. Hello all, happy Sunday. I have a little bit of a reading update, but the biggest update is that I've decided to kind of temporarily DNF this one. I was looking at it like all day yesterday and just felt no desire to pick it back up and read it. But I do really think I will enjoy this because I did like her previous book, and I think I'm just maybe struggling with like a reading burnout / letdown after reading all of the books I read last week. So I'm going to put this one on hold until later in the month and then try to just go back to it. I think if I could have found an audiobook for this, I would have been better off, but this one I have to read physically. I cannot find an audiobook at my library on Scribd, and I do not want to spend money on an audiobook because I typically do not purchase audiobooks unless I know I'm going to listen to them more than once. And this is a thriller, so I doubt that I would listen to it more than once. It's kind of my stance on buying thrillers as well. So yeah, gonna have to put this one down because I'm just not feeling it at this particular moment. But I am almost finished with Blacktop Wasteland, so this will get done in this vlog. I am actually on chapter 30, and that is page 260, and there's like 285 pages, so I'm almost done. So I'm gonna finish this one, and I will come back and chat with you about full thoughts. We're heading into like a bit of a showdown, you know, right at the end of the book. So yeah, we'll see how this one goes, and I will come back and chat with you about it. In other book news, I did get my Book of the Month book for August, and I'm really excited about this one because I picked up Family Lore by Elizabeth Acevedo, and I have read 2 books by her. I read The Poet X and With the Fire on High, and I gave them both 5 stars. This is her adult debut, but it's basically, it says, this is the story of one Dominican-American family told through the voices of its women as they await a gathering that will forever change their lives. So it's like magical realism-ish, I think, because one of the characters has the gift of like prediction, and I don't want to read too much into it because I like to go in kind of blind, but I have liked both books that I've read by her, so I'm really excited about this one. I'm hoping I can get to this one maybe before the end of the year. That would be the goal because I am trying to read Book of the Month books in a more timely fashion. The ones that I've been focusing on have not been from 2023. I've been reading a lot of books from 2022, which obviously I'm trying to work through the whole backlist anyway, but I do really want to read this one, so hopefully this will fit for like some reading prompts before the end of the year because I am really excited. So that was my Book of the Month, and then this is the bookmark that they sent with it, and that's my Book of the Month haul. Other than that, the only plan that I have today is to finish this book, and I'm gonna do that like straight off. I have some laundry to put away, so I'll just put my headphones back in and continue listening. It's only got 3 chapters left. So once this is done, I will come back and chat with you about it, let you know full thoughts, rating, that kind of thing. I do not think I'm gonna give this one 5 stars. I think it's gonna be a 4-star. The ending could change that, but I think it's going to be a 4-star. I haven't enjoyed this quite as much as the other 2 books that I've read by him, but I definitely think that his writing has gotten stronger with each of his subsequent books. I liked All the Sinners Bleed the best. So yeah, this was his first book, so we'll cut him some slack. I'm still really enjoying it. but I will let you know full thoughts once it's done. And that's all I have for you. So I will come back and chat with you a little bit later and take you along on anything else I happen to get up to today. It's already like 3 o'clock, so I'm not gonna get up to a whole lot. And yeah, so I will see you when I have an update. All right, y'all, I did finish Blacktop Wasteland. It did not take me very long, like maybe 20 minutes. I was listening to the audio while I did some online puzzles. I will link my favorite puzzle site down below in case you're interested. But my prediction stands. I'm giving this 4 stars. I just didn't like it quite as much as either Razorblade Tears or All the Sinners Bleed. Beauregard as a character is a little bit harder to like, in my opinion. He does some things that the reader, or me specifically, really didn't understand, didn't like, didn't enjoy. And it was kind of like he was putting his personal feelings ahead of his family. And so that was difficult to read. His wife, Kia, kind of calls him out on that several times, rightfully so. And in the end, like, he does make some decisions and things. The last showdown, if you will, was definitely action-packed, but I never felt the emotional connection to him or this story like I did with the other 2. Both of those other 2 books made me cry. This one did not, so I'm giving it 4 stars. It is still very well written. It is brutal, brutal. Like, there were some descriptions of some violence and things that happened that had me, like, wincing. Like, it's brutal. Which Razorblade Tears was likewise. All the Sinners Bleed wasn't quite as bad in that regard, but I just didn't like this one quite as much. I am glad that I listened to it on audio though, because the narrator is great. He does a really good job of like changing up the cadence of his narration depending on what character is speaking, so I really, really liked that. And he also, I believe, narrated Razorblade Tears, which he did a phenomenal job with. I did not listen to the audio of All the Sinners Bleed, but my guess is he probably narrated that too. There is a Q&A at the end of the audiobook with S.A. Cosby, which I enjoyed. Kind of talks about his process, some of the things that he included in here, why he did that. And so I liked that look into like his writing, or how he writes basically. And that was nice to listen to. That is not in the book, that's just on the audio. But yes, 4 stars, this one's done. And this is gonna be the only book that I finish in this vlog. Sorry, y'all. So yes, finished, currently on hold. I still have like the markers of like where I was trying to get to, but it's just not working for me right now. So as I said, I will try to revisit this later in the month. But the next vlog you see from me is going to be the vlog for the week-long Final Book Support Group readathon. The readathon technically runs from Monday through Friday, but I'm gonna go ahead and extend it to Sunday and just vlog Monday through Sunday and see how many series books I can get read. I do have a TBR for that. I will link my August TBR up in the cards and then also down below if you want to go back and check that out. But I did go through the TBR that I'm planning on reading for that readathon, assuming that I get them all read. I may or may not. So stay tuned for that. There will be some actual reading done in that one. I do go back to work on Tuesday, so I'm going to be trying to do some audiobook listening and things while I'm setting up my classroom, that sort of thing. So yes, that will be coming. If you are interested in school vlogs, classroom setup, all of that is coming. So tomorrow is my last day of summer break and I report back on Tuesday. But yes, 4 stars for this one. I don't know if I'm going to do any more vlogging tonight. If I do, I'll tag it on to the end of this, but I'm going to go ahead and close out the vlog with my little outro. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave me a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to my channel if you would like to see more from me. And I will see you in my next video. Bye, everyone.